is happening, Magnus? Sight. The nerdrotic is back. Hollywood, this is why you lose. This should be interesting. Oh, boy.
Well, let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go.
So you little trumpets, like, y'all won, I know you're happy, whatever the nobody acting like bitter.
All right.
Losers. However, y'all need to leave me the alone.
We got our asses kicked. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
All day yesterday, I was walking around proudly wearing my I voted sticker. Today, I wore my I am questioning my fundamental belief in the goodness of humanity sticker.
On Tuesday, Americans went to the polls and elected Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States.
That's right.
The results were shocking and even horrifying.
No, they weren't
It
shocking.
was a terrible night for everyone who voted.
I saw people on the left talking about, like, maybe they were out of touch. Maybe they didn't truly understand what was going on in the country, and they truly didn't. Someone who does YouTube, who has fans on both sides that both write me, both comment, and who is also watching a lot of what is on YouTube right now. And remember, YouTube is mainstream media now, mainstream entertainment now. Streaming is king, and YouTube is the king of streaming, okay? And so I'm watching all this stuff. I already knew how the world felt. It's like there were people that were on the left that were, they were so convinced that she was going to win. And I was just like, look, they both got bad qualities to them, but she's got more. And people don't trust her. And she didn't have to go through any primaries. She didn't have to, she was just placed there. They just handed it to her. She had a lower approval rating than him. And now all of a sudden you're telling me she's more, it's just the best thing ever. And after years and years of being Indian, all of a sudden now she's a black woman. Like, it was just so much manufacturing, from the fake accents to just the extra pushing of, she had a landslide of celebrities on her side too. Trump had his celebrity supporters, but she appeared to have more. Like, you got twerking on stage. You just had all this stuff, and that's what you really thought was going to win? All these companies going broke. All these movies bombing from all the stuff that, in particular, the left has been pushing. You really thought she was going to win? America spoke in a landslide.
Against him, and guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him too. You just don't realize it yet.
Well, guys, last night America decided to get back with the crazy ex and elect Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States.
No matter what's happening in the political climate, I will always be there for my community and will always try to help organize and uplift one another.
Who's that?
It is scary out there.
In this democracy, the majority has spoken, and they said they don't care that much about democracy.
You get
False. Don't even believe that. We didn't lose democracy last time he was in office. Come on now, Mike, stop.
nothing. You lose.
Yet they were talking about censoring us on social media, correct?
Good day, sir.
Nerdrotic.com.
Stop.
Bringing you over 1 million awakening wonders in the 40%.
And make sure you get over to Nerdrotic and subscribe. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you. Oh, look, I stopped on weird.
Who haven't subscribed yet. I hope you've had a good week, because I have. But you know who
Me too.
hasn't, and you just hate to see it? The millionaires and billionaires of Tinseltown. Considering they alienated half the country and broke their entire business model, leading to the death of broadcast television, which led to the death of late night and their ilk in the legacy media, the death of the access media, it makes it very hard for them to pretend or go to parties, especially when their favorite host is locked up. And that's before the events of the last week, and it turns out that streaming wasn't the only bubble to...
Is that the Lego one behind you, man? I was going to get that. Doesn't look too bad. It's blurry, though. You got the blur effect going on.
burst, because the Hollywood bubble burst, one that was primarily fueled by a constant supply of their own farts. And now they find themselves in an existential crisis, which has been unintentionally the most entertaining thing they've produced in years.
Johnny, you want to give us the word of the day?
I would indeed. The word of the day is Schadenfreude. Pleasure derived by someone from another person's or entire industry's misfortune. Now, some of you out there might say that sounds a little mean, and you'd be right. I completely understand that not everyone in Hollywood likes the direction their industry is going, and it's also not fair to just single out Hollywood. I'm talking about the entire corporate legacy media complex. From the film industry to publishing to the comic book industry to the music industry to that legacy broadcast media that shovels crap down our throats in every airport and gym.
What movie is
and
that?
No, I sure as hell don't watch that stuff at home. So you can't blame the average
Someone tell me what
American
movie
or
that
world
is.
citizen for walking around with a song in their heart and a smile on their face, enjoying the hell out of the glorious meltdowns coming particularly from Tinseltown. But every defeat is an opportunity, and hey, let's use Hollywood's language here. This can be a teachable moment, because Hollywood, this is why you lose.
Let's talk about being queer in America post-election.
I love this dude. I love how he interviews. He cracks me up.
How are you feeling?
Feeling not great, but also hopeful,
Who is she?
knowing that I have our community. I feel more invigorated than ever to be surrounded and uplift my community. No matter what's happening in the political climate, I will always be there for my community and will always try to help organize and uplift one another, because it is scary out there. And we need hope, and hope is the most important thing. And we will survive. We will get through this, even though it's very scary. Community, and community.
Yeah, I noticed that.
This is why you lose.
Come on. Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
She's gonna find out. She's finding out right now about how much us not supporting her business is going to affect her.
Corporate legacy broadcast media. This is why you lose.
I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has
This
less
stuff is so insufferable. She didn't lose any rights. Don't even try it.
rights than I have.
God.
I worked hard as hell to elect the first Black Asian woman president.
We are the only 248-year-old multiracial, pluralistic democracy in the world. And shall we keep it? A lot of our fellow Americans say we shouldn't.
It's so crazy that they were like you gotta vote for her because she's a woman and she's black. Like they were really running on that hard. You can't vote for someone on just that. You need to vote on policy. If you don't, it's an empty vote. How vapid is that? That makes no sense to vote just because someone's your color or, you know what I mean, someone's the same sex as you. Like, it's...
Now we know. Now we know for sure.
Late night television. This is why you lost.
On Tuesday, Americans went to the polls and elected Donald Trump to be the next president of the United
Woo!
States.
The results were shocking and even
They weren't.
horrifying.
Donald Trump
If you'd been paying attention, you saw it coming.
tried to forcibly overturn the results of the last election, was returned to office by an overwhelming majority.
This is the same Donald Trump who openly called for vengeance against his political enemies.
They're like, hey,
Now,
we on your
to the Supreme
side.
Court, there are no guardrails.
Nothing to protect the people who are brave enough to speak out against him.
Oh, shut up, woman.
And to the access media. This is why you lose. Stop blaming celebrity endorsements for Kamala Harris's loss.
Yeah, y'all see that list of all the celebrities they paid to endorse her?
We need to hear from artists now more than ever. Now, I know there are thousands of examples of the access media losing, but for the sake of your time, your sanity, and mine, let's just go with the latest. And let's keep in mind this comes from Variety, the very same outlet that recently took a shot at Star Wars fans during the Acolyte.
Variety!
Took a shot at all of fandom. But you got to give it up to Chris.
Remember when I used to get all those comments talking about y'all didn't believe nothing? Any rumors, any news rumors, any movie news rumors that I would report on unless it came from Variety? That's why I always say it like that. I don't believe it unless it came from Variety, the most reputable source for entertainment.
Willem and Variety, at least they're consistent. This time, They're going after the majority of Americans. How dare you question millionaire celebrities? Did you know that Bruce Springsteen, who sucks, and Beyonce, who also sucks, lost the election for Kamala Harris?
What?
Or at least bear a large part of the responsibility for her party's failure at the polls this year. It's true, you know, at least if you listen to some of the punditry coming from conservatives and even from some Democratic operatives eager to find some celebs to push into the middle for their current circular firing squad. At this point, I think it'd be prudent to point out that it was George Clooney who, according to Quentin Tarantino, is not a movie star, and I would agree, was the one who penned a letter that got the big guy to step down. And now he's catching some heat, and you just hate to see it. But it is clear
Well, he saw the decline. He was honest about it, and people got mad at him.
that the celebrity still has some influence over the ruling political class, just not their bosses, the American people. But Chris Willem and Variety think different. This isn't much of an exaggeration of some of the post-election sniping out there. A-list celebrity endorsements boomerang on Harris Democrats, read the headline of a reported news story in The Hill on Saturday. Overseas, The Guardian ran a Wednesday morning quarterback piece titled, "Did Celebrity Endorsements Actually Harm Kamala Harris?" The answer is yes, but let's hear what Chris has to say.
It was way too many. It was way too many. Like, to the point you're like, something's amiss here. Who's getting paid? Like, it felt like false, I don't know, false endorsements.
Some right-leaning publications actually declared that the whole idea of artists and entertainers speaking up had suddenly just been killed in its tracks, because it has. Kamala Harris and the death of the celebrity endorsement, read the headline of The Spectator in the UK, echoed by an equally breathless piece in the New York Post titled, "How Kamala Harris Killed the Celebrity Endorsement." Parading A-listers over policies was...
Yeah, you know, celebrity endorsements have never swayed me to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Not that I can think of, just because, y'all know, like, I like The Rock, okay? But I've never tried Zoa before. I've never tried his, what's he got, whiskey or tequila? I've never tried any of that. I'm not a drinker. I've drank before, but, I'm not a drinker. I don't wear a ton of Under Armour. I have like a pair of shoes from him, a couple of hats, but, it's like, you know what I'm saying? I buy what I like. If they endorse something that I happen to like while I'm watching commercial, I'm like, yo, this looks badass. I mean, it's a cherry on the top that you're in the commercial or that you endorse it, but it won't make me buy it just because you wear it. You know what I mean? Or you drink it, or you eat this, or
was always a recipe for disaster. Where's the lie? Musicians and actors in their ilk had a marvelous time ruining everything in this election cycle, to quote one of the most famous of...
No, you know what celebrity endorsements work for? For me, I think, and for more people that are level-headed, it works for people that when they endorse something that is in their lane. So if Beyonce was, say, pushing a particular microphone for your home studio, if you are a singer and you're building a home studio and she figures this is the best one for you, now that one could work. That one could work. She still could be being paid and all this other stuff, but you're going to take it more seriously. You know what I'm saying? And then when you're doing your research, you still make sure you're watching all the videos and reading the articles to compare the product and see what's what. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when Nas came out with a pair of those clippers, and every barber that I spoke to told me they sucked. One guy told me, he said, you know what? I'm a perfect cutting with them, though. It's like you got to learn a different way to cut with them, I got a free pair or something like that. I think did someone send me a free pair of free clippers? I gave them to my barber, and he used them for a little bit, but he eventually stopped using them. I didn't find one barber that said he liked them. Now, maybe some barbers did think they were good, but that's kind of like what I mean. It's like Nas is a rapper, but he was selling clippers. Okay, you're a black man. I get that. There's that connection with the clippers, and but I got I'd rather buy something from you if it's more in your lane. But also, if they endorse something, still do your research on the product, just like anything else. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say.
Of these endorsers, more succinctly, to the tune of blame Canada, blame Hollywood. That's a good idea. Someone should get on it. And here comes the cope and resentment, and that resentment is largely towards you and I, the paying customers, something these outlets thoroughly loathe, but still want you to subscribe to their crap websites and click on their ads.
Yep.
There's a good reason to believe the argument that people in the arts and entertainment terms we will use very loosely, speaking up does not move the needle a tremendous amount, because it doesn't. But concurrent with that argument is the reasonable belief that they can move it at least a tiny amount in registrations and motivation, if not 180-degree turns. Dude, I say this for your own safety. Remove your nose from your sphincter. All right, let's hear the rest of his argument. Maybe he's got a point. Maybe he doesn't. The idea that entertainers and artists, again a term we will use very loosely, involvement somehow leads to actual voter dissuasion is a fantasy. Bullshit that is happily perpetrated by the go woke, go broke crowd and picked up by columnists who think that picking on limousine liberals never goes out of style. It really doesn't, and no, it doesn't. It's tons of fun. It's just disappointing to see this picked up by objective journalists, by some Democrats themselves who imagine they have practical reasons to tell the entertainment world to shut up and sing, or shut up and act, or just shut up. I said it before, I'll say it again.
They didn't Candace Owens tell LeBron James to shut up and dribble. It's just stay in your lane. Just because you play basketball well doesn't mean you know who would lead the country well. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. Although they have that freedom of speech to voice who they think you should vote for and stuff. I mean, I get that other side also, but yeah, it just
last few years have been very hard on Hollywood, and the last thing they needed was to come out the other end on an election year, but here we are. But I do have to agree with this article on one thing. Hollywood did pull back for quite a while, but they more than made up for it in the last couple of weeks. Now, according to the article's author, music journalist Chris Willman, the celebrity endorsement doesn't necessarily move the needle, except when it does, but it definitely doesn't dissuade any voters.
Sure, Jan.
And this article probably works on Chris Willman and his ilk in Hollywood. Unfortunately, there's this pesky little thing called reality. Considering the amount of celebrity endorsements there were, and considering how badly the industrial legacy corporate media complex got its ass kicked, you think it might be prudent for an industry that relies on the American
What the hell was he
people
crying about
to
there?
just walk off quietly and take the L on this one, but thankfully you're not, because the access media can't die fast enough. Whether it has any effect or not, again, it did, just not the one you like. Everyone has to answer the question for themselves, if not their children. What did you do in the war, Daddy? Imagine feeling, as Bruce Springsteen, who sucks, did, that Donald Trump is the most dangerous candidate for president in my lifetime, even though he was already president for 4 years. And then stifling that because of what the New York Post or the twits on Elon Musk's platform might write. And it's statements like that that perpetuate fear and division are precisely the reasons you lost and you will continue losing in the corporate media. And all you are now is the dinosaurs mocking the meteor. And that meteor is us. That's why Elon can feel free to be a twit on his own platform and state, we are the media now. The era of the woke mind virus, identity politics, and the message is over, whether you like it or not. You had a good run, but now life is going to go on without you, much sooner than you think.
Yep.
In the end,
Yep.
the universe tends to unfold as it should.
nerdrotic.com.
The woke mind virus is gone, Mr. Anderson. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed my reaction and thoughts, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. 10 million subscribers.